class 7 students, welcome back to the Science Digital class. Today we are going to start chapter 9 of your textbook, Respiration in Organisms. Chapter at a glance: Respiration, respiration in humans, respiration in plants, types of respiration, respiration in animals. Engage. Look at the pictures. Which of these activities may involve anaerobic respiration? तो इन सभी पिक्चर्स को देखिए, इसमें अलग अलग एक्टिविटीज हो रही हैं, जैसे कि योगा, रनिंग एंड स्लीपिंग. इसमें से कब एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन होता है? यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट. रेस्पिरेशन. Respiration is a key feature of life and is carried out by all living organisms. It involves exchange of gases between the organisms and the external environment. Respiration is the process of taking in oxygen, using it in oxidation of glucose to release energy in the body cells and eliminating waste products like carbon dioxide and water from the body. तो respiration में हम क्या करते हैं? रिलीज ऑफ एनर्जी होती है और वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट को हटाया जाता है. रेस्पिरेशन में हम ऑक्सीजन लेते हैं, हाँ, और उसका यूज करते हैं ग्लूकोज के ऑक्सीडेशन के लिए, जिससे हमारी बॉडी को एनर्जी मिलती है. रेस्पिरेशन अकर्स इन द लिविंग सेल्स. द प्रोसेस ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन टेक्स प्लेस इन 2 स्टेप्स. These are described below. तो रेस्पिरेशन का जो प्रोसेस होता है वो 2 स्टेप्स में होता है. फर्स्ट वन इज ब्रीदिंग और एक्सटर्नल रेस्पिरेशन. The process of inhaling fresh air and exhaling the used air is called breathing or external respiration. During breathing, the oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide and water vapor are thrown out of the body through respiratory organs. Cellular respiration और internal respiration. एंड जो सेकेंड स्टेप होती है वो होती है सेल्यूलर रेस्पिरेशन और इंटरनल रेस्पिरेशन. इसमें द प्रोसेस ऑफ ब्रेकिंग डाउन ऑफ फूड यूजिंग ऑक्सीजन ऑफ द एयर ड्यूरिंग इनहेलेशन एंड देयरबाय रिलीजिंग एनर्जी इज कॉल्ड सेल्यूलर और इंटरनल रेस्पिरेशन. तो फर्स्ट स्टेप में तो हम क्या करते हैं? इनहेल करते हैं ऑक्सीजन को. हम इनहेल करते हैं एयर को और एक्सहेल करते हैं एयर को. इनहेल करते टाइम ऑक्सीजन होती है और एक्सहेल करते टाइम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. बट जो सेल्यूलर रेस्पिरेशन प्रोसेस होता है उसमें हम जो ऑक्सीजन हमने इनहेल की है उसका यूज करके फूड को ब्रेक डाउन करते हैं और उससे जो एनर्जी रिलीज होती है उसको बॉडी यूज करती है. तो सेल्यूलर रेस्पिरेशन में एनर्जी रिलीज होती है. दिस होल प्रोसेस टेक्स प्लेस इन द सेल्स. ड्यूरिंग सेल्यूलर रेस्पिरेशन During the cellular respiration, the digested food, which is in the form of glucose, reacts with oxygen and is converted into carbon dioxide, water and energy. Types of energy. There are 2 types of respiration. First is aerobic respiration. Organisms obtain energy by breaking down sugar, glucose in the presence of oxygen into carbon dioxide and water. The process of breaking down of glucose in the presence of oxygen into carbon dioxide and water to create energy is called cellular respiration or tissue respiration. Cellular respiration that uses oxygen is called aerobic respiration. This reaction gives out a lot of energy. It can be written as follows: C6H12O6 glucose plus 6O2 oxygen makes it 6CO2 carbon dioxide plus 6H2O water plus energy. Anaerobic respiration. Respiration that takes place in the absence of air is called anaerobic respiration or fermentation. During anaerobic respiration, glucose is converted into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. C6H12O6 glucose makes it 2CO2 carbon dioxide, 2C2H5OH ethanol plus energy. In the case of animals and humans, anaerobic respiration takes place in muscles during physical activities such as running, exercising, etc. But only for short time when there is a temporary deficiency of oxygen. During such anaerobic respiration, glucose is converted to lactic acid and energy is given out. Glucose, lactic acid plus energy. Accumulation of lactic acid in muscles causes cramps in muscles. Respiration in humans. The respiratory system is responsible for the oxygenating the blood and removing carbon dioxide from it. Living things have different ways of effecting this exchange of gases between their bodies and the environment. The respiratory system in human beings consists of the following organs. Number 1, nasal cavity. Number 2, larynx. Number 3, trachea. Number 4, bronchi. Number 5, lungs. Difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration. It takes place in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration is completely aerobic respiration. Glucose is completely oxidized to release carbon dioxide, water and energy. Glucose is incompletely oxidized to carbon, ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy. Aerobic respiration releases more energy. Anaerobic respiration releases less energy. Carbon dioxide and alcohol are the end products of this anaerobic respiration. It is carried out by plants, animals and human beings. Anaerobic respiration is carried out by certain bacteria and yeast. In this image, you can see a respiratory system in a human being. The roles of these organs during breathing are described below. When we breathe in, the air enters through our nostrils, hair and the moist inner lining of the nose prevents the dust and germs from entering the respiratory system. The air passing through the nasal passage gets warm and moist and enters the lungs through trachea, windpipe and bronchi. Each bronchus enters a lung. The two lungs are sponge-like sacs which fill most of the chest cavity. They are protected by the flexible rib cage. At the bottom of the chest cavity is dome-shaped sheet of muscle called diaphragm. In the lungs, bronchi branches out into smaller tubes known as bronchioles. At the other end of these bronchioles, there are very small air sacs called alveoli. These air sacs are surrounded by blood vessels. These blood vessels absorb oxygen present in the air we breathe in. Carbon dioxide present in the blood is released into the air sacs and is expelled out of our body when we breathe out. Thus, during breathing, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide takes place in the lungs. Mechanism of breathing. Breathing is a physical process that involves inhalation and exhalation. This process of inhalation and exhalation is caused by the action of diaphragm and intercostal muscles. Diaphragm is a muscular membrane present at the floor of the chest cavity. Diaphragm can stretch like a balloon and pulls lungs down, making them bigger. The muscles between the ribs are called intercostal muscles. Air gets in and out of lungs through the processes of inhalation and exhalation. When you breathe in, air is drawn into your lungs. This process is called inhalation. In inhalation, the ribs move up and outwards. The diaphragm moves down. As a result of these movements, the chest expands and its volume increases. This lowers the pressure in the chest and so the outside air flows into lungs. In this image, we can see कि कैसे humans breathe लेते हैं. First air inhaled, उसके बाद वो lungs में गई, rib cage expand की, rib muscles ने contract किया. Diaphragm contract होता है. When we exhale air, rib cage जो है वो small हो जाती है and rib muscles relax हो जाती हैं. डायफ्राम रिलैक्स हो जाता है एंड इस तरह से ह्यूमंस में ब्रीदिंग होती है. एक्सहेलेशन. When you breathe out, air escapes from the lungs. This process is called exhalation. In exhalation, the rib moves down and inwards. The diaphragm moves up. As a result, the volume decreases and so the chest gets smaller. This increases the pressure inside the chest and forces the air out of the lungs. Breathing rate. One inhalation and one exhalation make one breath. A healthy adult person at rest breathes 15 to 18 times per minute. The number of times a person breathes in a minute is called the breathing rate. Breathing rate increases when we run or do heavy physical exercises up to 25 breaths per minute. This is because whenever a person needs extra energy, she breathes faster to supply more oxygen to the cells. Respiration in animals. Different animals respire through different parts of their body such as skin or cell membrane, air holes or tracheal systems, gills and lungs. Tech Talk. Smart inhalers. Smart inhalers are the newest tool that can help respiratory disease. Patients get their medication and relay vital information back to doctors. Smart inhalers are embedded with AI technology that can collect data and monitor a patient's condition. Respiration through skin or cell membrane. Unicellular organisms such as amoeba and paramecium respire through their cell membrane, which helps in diffusion of gases. They take in oxygen through their entire body surface and give out carbon dioxide. In earthworms, the skin is moist and slimy, which makes it permeable for oxygen to diffuse in and carbon dioxide to diffuse out of the body. In this image, you can see an amoeba and an earthworm. Respiration through air holes. Cockroach and some other insects such as grasshopper breathe through air holes and air tubes. Insects like grasshoppers, cockroach have a respiratory system consist of a network of branched air tubes called trachea. These air tubes have opening called spiracles on the body surface. In this image, you can see a tracheal system in cockroach. The spiracles open and close to allow the gases to move in and out. Oxygen-rich air enters the tracheal tubes through spiracles and diffuses into the body tissue and reaches every cell of the body. In the same way, carbon dioxide from the cells goes into tracheal tubes and move out through spiracles. Respiration through gills. In a fish, the exchange of gases takes place with the help of gills. Gills are made up of a large number of filaments supplied by rich blood vessels called capillaries. A fish obtains oxygen from the water. During respiration, water enters the body through the mouth, passes through the gills and comes out of the operculum. The blood in the capillaries absorbs oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide through its walls. Respiration through lungs. Most mammals such as cats, dogs, horses, human beings, etc. breathe with the help of special sac-like spongy organ called lungs. Respiration in plants. Like all other living organisms, plants also respire for their survival. They also take in oxygen from the air and give out carbon dioxide. During this process, most of the plant use atmospheric oxygen to break down glucose into carbon dioxide and water with the release of energy. The exchange of gases takes place through different parts such as stomata in leaves, lenticels in stems and fruits, and cells in the root hair of roots. In this image, you can see respiration in plants through leaves. Leaves and young green stems take in the air oxygen and release carbon dioxide through the tiny pores called stomata. The stomatal opening surrounded by two guard cells and several subsidiary cells is called stomatal apparatus. The opening and closing of stomata is brought about by the expansion and contraction of the guard cells. Through stems. In the plants having hard and woody stems and mature roots, the exchange of gases takes place through lenticels. Lenticels are loosely packed dead cells which are present as small pores on the bark of woody plant or old roots. Through roots. Roots take up air from the air spaces trapped between the soil particles. The outer wall of the root is covered with many outgrowths called root hair. Root hair increases the surface area of the root for gas exchange. The oxygen enters the cell of the root hair. This oxygen passes to the other cell of the root. At the same time, carbon dioxide comes out of the cells of the root through the root hair into the soil. Moral learned. Respiration is essential for survival of living organisms. It releases energy from food. The inhaled oxygen is used to break down glucose into carbon dioxide and water. Energy is released in this process. Recapitulation. The main substance that is oxidized during respiration is glucose. Different animals respire through different parts of their body. The respiratory system is responsible for oxygenating the blood and removing carbon dioxide from it. Like all other living beings, plants also respire for their survival. They also take in oxygen from the air and give out carbon dioxide. Leaves and young green stems take in the air, oxygen, and release carbon dioxide through the tiny pores called stomata. Thank you, class. Let's meet again next time in the next chapter.